Atlas was always strong, just clunky, with the main drawback being his energy management. Well, we might have solved that. By we, I mean DE, when they introduced Varuna. You see, it was not a coincidence I named this video Atlas Unleashed, and it's thanks to Varuna's third ability from Helminth that we can enable Atlas to his fullest potential. How does it work? Well, Varuna's ability is active, melee kills spawn health orbs, and if you equip Equilibrium, then you get energy. Simple as that. While Atlas' passive augment, Rubble Heap, gives you energy-free landslide, that's not the ability that hinders your energy. It's the very ability that's required to sustain high rubble, Petrify. In all honesty, that ability costs 3 times more energy than it probably should have, but such is life and that brings Atlas down quite a bit. Varuna completely solves this, since now build allows for quite a bit of range, so your landslide basically nukes that particular postcode thanks to internal combo that can escalate the range and damage. To show the build, it's 3 Umbra mods and adaptation for maximum tanking capabilities. Even though you're invincible for the most part as casting landslide makes you invulnerable, it's still nice to have health and armor, especially because with this and rubble you get 90% damage reduction. Other than that, I've got some duration, range, equilibrium, and rubble heap for endurance. Arcane Avenger is not mandatory, but enables an extra gear, so to speak, when it comes to landslide. Because by default, it has 5% critical chance, so you can't build that for criticals. Well, with Avenger, it works, as that triggers even when you're invulnerable. For the other Arcane slot, I assume most people will use Arcane Fury. Here I was messing around with using Arcane Blessing, which is why you saw that super high HP. I ditched his absolutely useless 4th ability for Varuna's ability, but there's a catch to it. Only way to make Varuna's ability have infinite duration is to kill enemies who are affected by 5 or more status effects. Status is not really a strong side of Atlas. We can force criticals, but landslide stays at 5% status chance. That's where Seto comes in. Its Old Fire will deal 4 base elemental status effects plus blast plus whatever you build it for. Building it for viral helps Atlas scale better. Also adding Hunter Munitions works even with Old Fire because, as I already mentioned, we're forcing criticals with Atlas and that carries over to your weapons. Other than that, other things are irrelevant when it comes to use with Atlas. If you want the detailed Seto build, you can check out my video about it. That easily primes enemies with 5+ status effects, which means you extend your duration of Varuna's ability as much as you want. Though it caps out at 2 times the total duration, so you still have to do it every now and then. More talking about his choice of pets. Adarza Kavat, with her own critical chance buff, helps alongside Avenger for reliable crits. It's also very important to have Synth Fiber on your companion with this build, as it will make you pick up health orbs even when your health is full. Talking about health, the reason Atlas struggles in general when it comes to rubble is because when your health is not full, then rubble enemies drop only heals you, does not give you armor, which is super weird. He's a very brawly type of warframe. It's kinda hard to expect that he'll be at maximum HP. I really wish rubble always gave rubble and HP when needed. But now, since Varuna gives us health orbs, that's also easier with this build. I used to run Arcane Grace in an Arcane slot, but with this, it's far more sustainable. To help it out, I would probably add like 1 Archon shard that doubles the effect of health orbs, but it works great even without it. And cherry on top is building your melee weapon for Atlas, and this is kind of a weird build. Since there's no status effects, we basically build for elementals that do high damage. In my case, I use corrosive and heat. Critical chance is being given by Avenger and my kitty, so we only add critical damage. Adding critical chance mods is a waste, but weirdly enough, adding primed impact isn't. Atlas landslide base damage is 100% impact, and this adds a lot of raw damage. Some combo duration on the side, and that's about it. Now, before Lua's prey update, I used to run armor stripping on Atlas. Because his extremely high raw damage, there's no ways of scaling it. So armor stripping is a golden thing to have with Atlas. But with such infinite energy given by our latest warframe, I'm willing to toss it to the side. Still, Atlas does insanely high damage, so it's not that big of a deal until you're a few hours deep into a Steel Path Endurance, so we can manage. Only some enemies with higher armor might be resilient to take a few extra punches. Zero's Viral is there to help, as well as Petrify from Atlas. A less known effect of that ability is to add 50% modifier to enemies' resistances, essentially buffing your damage. We'll be using it anyway to sustain the rubble for Rubble Heap, as doubling the damage is kinda fun, especially for those occasional orange crits that pop out with huge numbers. Worth noting is that even when Petrify does not petrify enemies, more often than not they're still affected by damage modifier that comes with that ability. For regular quick remissions, Rubble Heap is never going to see any use, so there you might look into other mods, and honestly, there's no rules here. Hunter Adrenaline if you want more passive energy gain or more range because reasons, or some other cool mods that you like. Personally, I'm a huge fan of this combo. I know it's only been a couple of days since this got introduced, but I had a blast with it. Can't say the same for Acolytes. Enemies who are very dangerous and can delete you in a one shot. Or hugging them and beating the living heck out of them. Bullying them even. Let me know how this works out for you, or if you have any ideas how to improve it. That's it for this one, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.